Yes, Elder Lawya, let's now get to Matthew 14 and 22 to show people, brothers and sisters, some of the lessons that were given to Peter, whom Christ built his church on. And I want you to imagine yourself as one of his disciples.
Yes, sir. St. Matthew 14, verse 22.
If you have listened to any lesson, the name of the Most High, the 12 lost tribes found from Rome, Babylon to America, or the creation of the universe, if you have listened to every lesson, any lesson up until this point, I'm going to need you, when you read these scriptures and write it down, to go back and reflect on what I'm giving you today. Because knowing who you are and understanding the history of Israelites, in of itself, will not get anyone the kingdom of heaven. What I'm giving you today is the understanding of what each individual was called to. And don't think I'm responsible for you making it. I'm doing all I can. I'm doing all I can. And if me putting the plow down when the Most High gave it to me and continuing in spite of adversity and everything else, if that's not enough, what else can I do? Or any of us? I mean, look, the Most High gave Moses his name, which is teaching what was given to Moses. He went into Egypt, warned Pharaoh of the plagues. Egypt was plagued, and Israel came out with much substance following Moses. And the only thing we're doing is teaching that we are those people. The people seen Pharaoh on one end, the Red Sea on the other, and the stream of the water split 12 ways so that 12 tribes can go through the water. It wasn't just no one split. It split 12 ways for each tribe to go through. And it was a body of water for each tribe looking as they ran. Listen to what happened here. I can read about it and teach you about it, but our foreparents went through it. On the other side, the Pharaoh and his army drowned in the waters. Guess what? The archaeology, they have found old chariots in that same sea to prove the Bible's history to be true. And then what happens? We get into the wilderness, and our people, after all of these miracles shown by the God of all gods, destroyed the gods of the Egyptians. One day, all the Egyptian gods fell in the temple, and the Pharaoh got up like, what's going on? And Moses was like, that was my God. He's above all your gods. And we got in the wilderness, and everyone looked at Moses now. Did you bring us out here to die? Look at you. Because why? They had time to be around him now. He wasn't just this man holding a staff. They found out that he was just a mere man. I can do what he's doing. I'm frustrated. There's arguments going on. And he says, listen, bill a divorce. Inflicted the bill because there was arguments going on. And even the women was like, huh? You're going to just let him put me away? Now the women are mad at Moses. Jethro comes to him and says, you can't do this alone. You're going to fail. It's too much for you. You must delegate. He gets an Egyptian woman. At the same time, a mutiny is going on within Israel, where other Levites are now going to do their own Sabbaths separate from Moses. I'm Levi too. Miriam is looking, and all these Israelite women, you find an Ethiopian? How am I going to sell this to the people? I'm trying to keep the people together, and you out there just doing what you want to do. And she can say what she want to say because that's his sister. And then Aaron was like, yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's like women running around. Yeah, man, you just making it hard on us to try to keep the people together. You doing what you want to do, but then you leave the pressure on us to have to argue with these people that God chose you. Who he is, the Most High, it's not only dealing with him. And he smit Miriam with leprosy and put her outside the camp for 7 days. He says, because I haven't talked to any of you face to face. I've never called any of you friend. If it wasn't for this man standing and doing what he's doing, you wouldn't be here. It happened back then, and it still happens. When people forget the beginning of all things and say, well, listen now, let me look into whether or not this doctrine is right. Let me see what's going on. As if there's options out here outside of us helping each other get through this. So he had to show his disciples. Matthew 16, Elder Lawya, read it. Matthew 14:22. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Matthew 14, verse 22. And straightway Yeshua constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him and unto the other side while he sent the multitudes away.
Come on.
And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the even was come, he was there alone.
Come on.
But the ship was down in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yeshua went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out with fear.
They see a man, a silhouette of a man walking on the sea. Oh, there must be a spirit out there. Check this out now. Read.
27. But straightway Yeshua spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I. Be not afraid.
Don't be afraid. It's me. You notice how man initially deals with the law of physics, thinking that some things are impossible. And we always deem things from the laws of this world first being shaped in iniquity, restricting ourselves to what? The laws of this earth, not realizing that this was made out of the heavens. So automatically, our brains cannot adjust to something that's anti-world. It must be a ghost, must be something, because we're trying to rationalize the impossibilities. Folks, I know that when Israel is saved, it's going to be through the impossibilities. It's the faith we grow in this church that gets us to understand it and achieve those impossibilities. But you cannot get it unless we are in tune with the body together. You can't get it from the outside looking in, critiquing the body as if you know the answer. No, you're just a critic. You don't know what this is.
28. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water.
So he says, Peter said, can I come? Now don't forget, this is the man whom Christ will build his church. Can I come? Is it possible I can walk on this water too? Read on.
And he said, Come.
Come on. Read.
And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yeshua.
Look at that. Folks, it was like this stage I'm standing on. He was just walking on the water. Now, there was no problem as long as he understood he could. Read.
But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Yeshua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him,
Come on.
O thou of little faith.
O thou of what?
O thou of little faith.
Could Peter walk on water? Yes, because he was. But when he got the knowledge that he wasn't supposed to, he began to sink. And this is what happens in this truth. We come in through faith and appreciate it. But then when we get into the truth, we don't understand the trials and tribulations that comes with it and begin to what? Sink. Expecting what? A magic bullet to the kingdom without sacrifice. Let me tell you, folks, being in this truth and getting to the kingdom will be very uncomfortable. And because we're going through this, we're going to look at others. We look for others to blame instead of backing each other, trusting each other, loving each other. appreciating one another. We're going to look at everything else and everyone else as the problem, not realizing it's the purging of a nation leading to the kingdom of heaven. And each person must be purged as Christ was. And it takes faith. And if you're sinking, it's no one else's fault but you. And what happens is, when you begin to sink, or you no longer have faith, it's easy to say it's because of someone else. Knowing, no, it has nothing to do with others. It's the lust of your heart. It's what's in your flesh. You just needed a convenient excuse not to finish. You need a fall guy. Because the last thing someone wants to admit in their state of pride is that they fell weak.
And immediately Yeshua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith.
O thou of little faith.
Wherefore didst thou doubt?
Why did you doubt anything? Read.
And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased.
And when they came into the ship, the wind ceased. Let me tell you, Christ continually reprimanded Peter, knowing that he was going to leave that work on him. Said, you can't do this and finish without the faith I've instilled in you. When things get shaky, when things get weak, when other people don't understand, Peter, I got your hand. I have your hand. Everyone is going to turn against you. Stand in the faith I've instilled in you. And that's what each individual. That's why, listen, hey, I understand that I'm a prisoner to the work. And regardless of my circumstances, regardless of them, I must finish. You will never find me doing anything else.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.